Hi everyone, and a warm welcome back to Motorhoming Adventures. If you've just watched our third part of our trip to Croatia, then you will have seen that we used some toll motorways in Austria. So I thought I'd just put together a very quick guide, and it is pretty straightforward, for travelling on toll motorways in Austria and what you would need to acquire to go into your vehicle. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you know that toll roads around Europe are all slightly different. The French ones, the Austrian ones, the Slovenian ones, the German ones, all slightly different. So this was our trip which we've just done in Austria, and this is what we had to do to travel on the motorways. So on the Asfinag toll shop website, you can see there that if you are up to and including 3.5 tons maximum weight, and that obviously includes cars, smaller motorhomes and camper vans, and motorbikes, you can buy either a 10-day, 2-month vignette. The vignette which we bought, or which Stephen and Carol bought, who are travelling with us in a Peugeot conversion camper van, and therefore below 3.5 tons, they bought one of these, €9.60, and that's stuck into the centre of the windscreen and lasts for 10 days. Of course, you can purchase these at stacks of places in and around Austria, both in the neighbouring countries and in Austria itself on the motorways when you first get onto the toll motorways. And I'll explain a bit more about some of the documentation you'll need when you first go to that point of sale of these vignettes or the go boxes in a moment. But up to and including 3.5 tons, one 10-day vignette, or you can obviously get the one that lasts longer. You stick it in the centre of your windscreen, and as you go under the gantries with their electronic sensors, it picks up the fact that you have bought your vignette and allows you on your way untroubled to travel on the toll motorways. If you're over 3.5 maximum permissible weight, then it is a slightly different process, because unlike the vignette, which is a fixed charge, if you're over 3.5 tons, you pay per kilometre of the toll roads that you use. So for that, the website itself, the Asfinag website, diverts you to the Go Toll, which is, as you can see there, the Go Toll is for trucks, buses and heavy motorhomes, maximum permissible weight exceeding 3.5 tons. And as it says there, just that confirmation, it's mileage based, and therefore assesses the size of your vehicle and charges you per kilometre. So that is exactly the same indeed as getting the stick-on vignette, in that at the same number of go points of sale, and indeed you see there's at least 175 go points of sale in and around the Austrian motorway system. It's a bit like going into a motorway service area. When you stop in there, then invariably at the tills on all of the toll roads, they can offer you these boxes, which I'll tell you about in a sec. So don't worry necessarily about getting them before you get into Austria, because indeed you might decide that once you're in Austria you're not going to use the toll motorways. But if you do use the toll motorways, as we decided to do on the Hoof, then this would be the process you'd go to. You would drop in to the first available go point of sale, which, as I say, are very clearly marked on the motorways, and indeed before you get into Austria, and when you're on some of the roads just prior to the toll roads, there are big information signs saying you can get your go toll boxes in the next kilometre or so. So if you decided to do it on the hoof as we did, then you look out for that, and then at your first available one you stop in. Ours was at a service area, just like an English UK motorway service area. We went up to the till and I said we just need a go box for the motorhome, and they drop you in to the following process. So with you, you'll need to take your registration document, which is just your standard V5 that you'll have with your vehicle. But also the other thing which is really important to take with you abroad is what they call the certificate of conformity, because that document verifies the fact that you are a certain category of Euro diesel vehicle. And that's the key thing when it comes to charging you per kilometre or mile. Then it's about which Euro level you are on in terms of the certificate of conformity, which Euro level you are, and can you prove that. So hence this document, the certificate of conformity, gives you the ability to be able to prove what Euro level you are. Now we're obviously a Euro 6, so you can see that our Mobile Veta certificate of conformity on the second page has, amongst other gazillion other facts and figures about the vehicle itself, it's a manufacturer's document, and I've highlighted there the exhaust emission levels where it obviously confirms that it's a Euro 6. So the certificate of conformity is a really useful document to take with you. If you've perhaps bought your vehicle as a nearly new, then either the dealer you got it from, perhaps the owner you're buying it from, or indeed the original manufacturer may be able to sort of post out to you a certificate of conformity for your make and model of vehicle, so that you're able to prove what Euro level you are. So that's your certificate of conformity and your registration document, and obviously finally, of course, you need to pay for it. Well, to get this, and here it is, the go box. To get this go box, we paid 75 euros. Now, before you panic too much, in that that's a very expensive bit of plastic or box, then don't worry too much, because that is a preloading of this box. So this box in effect only costs about 5 euros. The rest of that fee is a standard figure which you have to preload this box with. So let's just get that out of its packet so you can have a closer look at it. So in the box you get this little orange plastic affair, sort of credit card size, bit smaller in fact, and you also get a couple of these bits of plastic there, one of which has got an adhesive back on it. This one is the spare, and you'll have seen, or if you haven't, here's a quick clip of it in the windscreen of our motorhome just here. Quick little self-test. Yeah, 2 green lights on that, which means it's working correctly. And then it just clips into that little plastic holder, which is stuck to the window there. Simple as that. So you can see there we positioned it just fairly central in the windscreen, and we did that because on the receipts that you get back from the cashier, it gives you built-in instructions as to how to use it, and indeed lots of other information in the language of your choice. So obviously us for British, with information about its use and the various things that the box does. So first and foremost, obviously that's why it was in the centre of our windscreen, or thereabouts in the centre, because it gives you a little guide here. It has to be so far up, so far down, and the white area is the suggested area where your adhesive piece of plastic is going to be stuck onto the windscreen, into which the box then clips in, as you saw on that short clip of video. What it also tells you obviously is the fact that you had paid your 75 euros there, of which only about 4 or 5 euros goes for the plastic box itself. The rest of it is preloaded with toll payment for the roads you're about to travel on. So those are the receipts. Keep hold of them. With your receipts, back out to your vehicle. Obviously check first and foremost that the cashier has set it up correctly. So the first thing you can do to make sure it's working correctly, and indeed it tells you on here about how to check it and to query the status as it says there, before, during and after driving. But what you can do is you can press this button here, and if you watch the lights come up when I press that, just give it a short press. And you see there that 2 green lights came on. One is to say it's been pre-programmed with the fact that I'm a 2-axle vehicle. And the other one, the green light there, indicates that everything is working correctly and it's ready to put in the windscreen, and off we go. The other thing to say at this stage is that preloading of toll on there, if you only did a short section of motorway and therefore didn't use all the amount that had been preloaded, then you can keep the box. We will be keeping it because any unused toll will last up to 3 years on there. And indeed the box itself has a tiny little lithium battery in there which is supposed to last for 5 years. So we're obviously intending, and will be, I'm sure, going back through Austria sometime in the next 3 to 5 years. So we'll keep hold of this, keep the little box it came in. You can keep it in your glove box of your motorhome, and then if you're coming towards Austria, out it comes and back into the windscreen, onto the white clip, which I will also leave on the windscreen, to remind myself to go back to that fabulous country of Austria. So you saw the fact that 2 lights, or the number 2, was lit up when I pressed the little button there. That relates to to how many axles I have. So 2 lit up on the box means that I've been programmed as a 2-axle vehicle. Obviously some motorhomes are of course 3 axles, because they're or tag axles, as you've probably heard the term. So and you can see therefore when you start to look down the Euro list, Euro 6, Euro 4, Euro 5 and so on, that there are very slightly different rates per kilometre for your vehicle, be you a 2-axle or a 3-axle, and then the Euro class. And that's really the sum total of it. You've got your box programmed, it's gone into your windscreen, it's now charging you per kilometre. Well, there's actually day and night rates there, and in fact you'll note there the night rates are a bit more expensive, probably because it's a better time to travel for the big lorries who don't like the traffic. So I'd imagine that's why it's slightly more expensive. But anyway, we certainly won't be travelling in the middle of the night in the motorhome, but it's just there, and you can get on their website, you can see there they've got up-to-date rates of what you might be paying, but in effect that's obviously in cents. So we were a Euro 6 day rate, which is 20 cents or 0.203, 20 cents per kilometre, which of course is another reason why you might want to avoid some of the motorways in Austria, because that's not the cheapest form of travel, when you consider that would fairly quickly add up if you did a massive mileage on the toll motorway system. Hence we did that mixture of motorways and or a bit of non-motorway, to balance out the cost a bit and keep it down. And the only other thing to tell you about, apart from obviously testing it to make sure it's functioning right, instructions for which, as I say, are on the back of your till receipt that you'll get, this great big long piece of paper. The only other thing to know about are the acoustic signals. There's a section in there, acoustic signals. So once this is in the windscreen, off you go on the motorway, and you go under the gantries. And as you go under the gantries, of which here is a quick example of us going under one of them, and listen out for the beeps. And when you've got your charge toll sorted, it does that single beep, which means your device is working and it's got enough credits loaded onto it. That's about it. So you heard there, that was a single beep, which means one short beep means the transaction's okay and all is fine. The other thing to know about though is the alternative to that. Now we also had that, And here is an example of the 2 beeps we got when we were going under one of the gantries. So that extract with the double beep, that was actually a fast forward to when we were coming back from Austria. Sorry, back through Austria, I should say. And we had used up the prepaid toll that we had preloaded onto it. So as you can see, it does, you can go through it fairly quickly. At that stage, as we were going under one gantry, it gave us the 2 short beeps, which you'll have just heard there. What that means is pop back into the next service area where they sell or maintain or put more toll onto that. You hand that box to the cashier, who will then check it, who will let you know if there's anything owing on it, i.e. you've gone through some gantries and there wasn't enough funds on the box, so you'd have to pay that. But then what they also do is they can then load it with more toll. Hence we'll obviously keep hold of this, because there is still some unused toll now left on the Go box itself. The Go box, incidentally, as a sort of one of the final points of this short film, the Go box is in effect rented, so you don't actually own this. It remains the property of the sort of Austrian Highways Agency, and you can therefore send this back to them, or indeed if you're just coming off the motorway and knowing you're not coming back to Austria for the next 3 years, you can take it back into one of those service areas, hand it back to the cashier, and you'll get a refund on it. You'll get your €4 or €5 back that you've paid to rent the box. But as I say, as yet, we're hoping to get back to Austria, so I've kept that in the eventuality that we use toll motorways and not any other roads in Austria when we next go back there. And I guess the only final one to know would be 4 short beeps, or indeed no beep at all, but 4 short beeps means stop at the next available Go point of sale. In other words, you cannot proceed past that. You've got to stop off and find out what's wrong with it. And if it was cause no beep, then also you've got to stop off and find out what's wrong with it. Battery may have failed, something like that. So keep an ear out for the different noises that it makes as you go under the gantries, because obviously the last thing that you want to get is some sort of fine sent through to you when you've made it back home, and get a fine through the post for not registering properly when using their motorways. So that's about it. That's the Go box. That's the if you're over 3.5 tons maximum weight for the Go box. If you're up to and including 3.5 tons, it's that much more straightforward vignette, that €9.61. And of course, you only need either of those if you are using the toll motorways in Austria. It's a system which is unique to Austria, can't be used in other countries, which is a bit of a shame, but that's Austrian toll motorways in a nutshell. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys, and look out for the next part of our Croatian trip, which was out of Austria and down to Italy. Look forward to you coming along with us, and we'll see you again very soon. Thanks. Bye now.